Everybody, I'm Joanne from Photo Organizing Solutions, and today I'm going to show you how to create this really cool layout with this swirl on the edge. Okay, so what you're going to need is we're going to be cutting lots of circles. So you're going to need your circle cutting pattern. We only need the blue blade and the red blade. But we're going to be cutting several different sizes of circles. And for this layout, before I get started, I just want to show you that I'm going to be using the beautiful Emerald Gemstone collection. It's absolutely stunning, and I've pulled out these two sheets of paper for this particular project. So this is actually one piece of what can be a two-page spread, and the second page just continues this small circle design on the other side, but I'll show you how to create this design again. So as I mentioned, we're going to be cutting 3 sizes of circles. So you'll see that we're actually going to use the medium circle of the cutting template and the red blade to get this size circle, and that's the circles that are all coming across the sides. Then we're going to use the large circle also on the inside with the red blade to create the this circle and swirl, and then we're going to use the small circle with the blue blade on the outside to create this circle, which is the largest circle in our swirl. Okay, so I'm going to move those aside, and I've already done a little bit of the small circle cutting here, but I'll cut a few more. Okay, so you can see that I'm going to be cutting all these circles. And what I mean by red blade cuts closest to the edge is the red blade is very, very close to the posts that run in the guide. So if I compare that to the blue blade, I don't know if you can see this, but the blue blade sits a little bit further out. So that's how we get our different size circles. So I just like to line this up just so that the edge is very, very close to the paper. Make sure these little posts go inside, and I'm going to just quickly go ahead and cut. I think I need, how many more circles do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's 4. We'll do one more. And so you can see I'm very good at saving my paper here. I think that's all I need. If I need to come back and cut more, I will. So then if I'm looking at this, I need this aqua piece to be my next size circle. So that's actually, we're going to jump to the large circle and use the inside with the red blade. And it seems like the large is the one that I did before, was the largest pattern, but because we're using the inside, it's end up being smaller than when we use this with the blue blade, I think it is. Yeah, on the outside. So that's how that kind of works. So same idea. I'm just going to line up my posts. There we go. And there's that circle. And then one last circle, and that will be from this beautiful paper. And it's the smallest one, but I'm jumping up to the biggest blade. And so I'm going to cut that right beside. Now I'm going to go on the outside this time, so I'm going to have to leave quite a bit of space around. So sometimes what I like to do is I like to pop the 2 posts in while it's like that. And then when I lay it down, I just kind of look from the side, and then I double check from this side to make sure my blade doesn't go off the paper. So it's, again, because I like to save my paper, I like to do it as close as possible, which is why I like to have that extra step. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut these papers in half. And what I did is I just quickly folded, or gently I should say, not quickly, gently folded and pinched down on one of these. And then I just stacked them all, and I'm going to cut on that seam. And then I'll just fold this one again. For me, that just worked. I didn't have to find the center of my circle and draw a line and all that stuff. And the very, very middle of these circles, even if you end up with a little tiny bit of a crease showing, it actually gets covered up by this border anyway. So I love it when there's things like that. So then I just actually used my trimmer, oops, and make sure that's straight along my crease. It's pretty forgiving, this project. Should be able to do all of these together. I'm just having trouble seeing it though. Do a sharper crease. There we go. All right, so that gives me all my circles. Stack those out of the way. Okay, so then the next thing I did was I wanted to create a nice line to line these up on. Initially I did try to do it freestyle, and I ended up on an angle, and this piece ended up off the top. So I came up with this really neat way to do this. So I just took a little bit of my repositional adhesive. Now I use 2 of the Creative Memories adhesives, and I love them both. But when I'm doing kind of projects like this that are piecing together things and a little bit more finicky, I love the flexibility of the repositional tape, and I'll show you why. So I just want a tiny little bit on here right now. But the reason is it just puts little tiny dots, and actually they rub right off. So if you're doing something just temporary, then it's fantastic. So what I just wanted to do is put it onto my ruler, just so I can see, I'm going to move it down a bit actually, just so I can see how far from the edge of my paper I want this to go. And you can see that I have it not quite to the top. There's just a little tiny bit underneath. And so I'll do the same here. And so when I put my ruler down, I can bring this all the way up so that the closest line, like it keeps me straight. Whoops. So that my line, I don't know, can you guys see this? You might not be able to see, but I think you'll get the idea. So my closest line is this one actually, this blue line, and it's, again, if I line that up right at the top of my paper, like this, it's nice and straight. Then I can do a pencil line right along the bottom, and that's going to keep me, you know, lining up my circles perfectly straight. And then I take that off with my repositional tape and I rub off those little dots, and I'm ready to go. So now that I have this line, I can start using the repositional tape, and I'm going to make sure, so it's this side that I'm doing, and I'm going to start putting on the tape, or actually I'm going to start with these guys over here. I saved them from my last project so that I could continue my circles going all the way across. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So I'm just going to start with this side. And which one was this one? I think it's this one here. think. What's this guy? Uh-oh, did I lose it? Yeah. No, it's not that one. I may have lost the actual piece. This is, oh, I think it is that one. Okay. Let's see. Does that line up? Oh yeah, that lines up. I don't know why it looked from my perspective like it didn't. Alright, so I'm just going to go across. And I only want to go, actually I only want to go this far because now if I was doing the page that matched, I would actually just continue with the small ones all the way across. I'll show you how this looks. Like this. And so you can see that it would make a lovely two-page spread, you know, going across like that. And can you guys see the whole thing? Let's slide over. So that's how the two-page spread would go, is you would just keep going on and just have the one focal. I mean, you could do another one, but I'm going to show you how to do another focal piece. So once you've got to this section, then we need to add our first bottom piece. And if you see on this, it's actually 3 bottom pieces layered and touching on the left hand side. And again, you could mirror it and have it on the other side, but essentially it goes like this: 1, 2, and 3, like that. Okay, so we'll stick all 3 of these down. So there's 1, and 2, and 3, and then the top is the opposite. So the top goes like this, and then like this to the right side, and then again to the right side. And that's how you get your swirl effect. So simple. And again, I'm just doing a bit of tape. You'll probably want a little bit more when you do yours, but I think I might pop this off and move it once I'm finished. And then you just keep going. You keep going with the rest of your squares, or circles, all along your line, all the way across. When you get to the end, you're going to have pieces of your circle that hang out over the edge. Totally fine. That's what happened when I had this side, is these pieces hung over the end. And that's why I kept them, because I wanted them to be the beginning of this so that they met up. So when I do my border across, they'll meet. So I actually had one circle too many there. And there we go. So now that I've got these ones hanging over the edge, I'm going to just flip that over and snip these off, just like that. Now you would save these if you were doing, you know, a page that was going to butt up like I did. So now what I want to do is I want to create that little strip at the bottom, like I said I was going to, out of this matching paper. Now, I actually thought I was going to cut more circles out of it than I did. So I've got a bit of space. So I actually have 2 1/4 inches, it looks like. So I could do a thin 1.5 inch strip. But I actually have a little bit more space here. So I might just do a wider border that I can kind of play with later. So I'm going to cut, let's see, I probably have, yeah, 4.5 inches easily. But I don't know that I want more than 1.5 inches at the bottom. So I think I'll just cut 2 1.5 inch strips. There's one. There's 2. And these are going to go across the bottom. Ooh. And then I'm going to punch my border to go across the middle here, just like this. Okay, good. So with this one now, I want a border out of this paper. And I have used the crystal chain for this. And actually I wasn't thinking, because I wanted to use the gemstone one, and I don't know why, I grabbed the wrong one. So I'm going to finish it off with the crystal chain, but it was actually the gemstone one, the new gemstone that I wanted to use for this. But I had a creative opportunity and I grabbed the wrong punch, so I will finish that creative opportunity. But you can use whatever border you want. You can use a sticker strip across the edge as well. Whatever you prefer. Even just a simple strip of thin cut paper, like just, you know, a 1/4 inch strip of paper or so, or 1/2 inch. So there's my border chain. And I love these mats and the repositional tape for doing these delicate borders. So I'm just going to run all the way down. And the reason I use the repositional tape is because those tiny little dots then don't hang over the edge in the holes of the design. And the reason I use the silicone mat is because then I don't get sticky residue on my work surface. So I had lined this up because I want to hide the seam. So I had lined it not quite centered. I wanted it down just a little bit to hide that seam. Just like that. Let's see if I did a good job lining it up. Oh, perfect. Look at that. I'm on a roll today. Good. Press that down now that I know I have it in place and I don't want to lift it up. So there we go. I don't have pictures for this layout, so I'm actually not going to get too decorative moving forward, but you can see, you know, playing around with the pictures, you know, you've got lots of space to be able to, you know, lay your photos down and make a lovely 2-page spread on your design. So, and like I said, I did this to show you, but I probably would have just carried the chain across and not done another swirl. But of course you can have it however you like, because I love how effective that swirl is. And one thing to note, when you're choosing your paper colors for the swirl, you really want a good contrast in colors. So that's why I pulled out a really light, in the same kind of color family, a really, really light color to provide that contrast. So there you have it. I hope that you liked this video, and please, if you create a layout with using this technique, I would love to see it. Post it on my Facebook page. It's Scrapbooking with Joanne. and also or in my group if you're in Joanne's crop room, post it there as well, because I love seeing people's layouts. Please feel free to share my video and watch for more photo organizing tips and tricks and scrapbooking ideas. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great afternoon.